I took a break from games and apparently everyone became unemployed and cracked. Thing is, I haven't played much of any competitive games lately, mostly just working on the final year of school, working through my thesis, etc. But what I noticed is even when I would hop on a game of League of Legends or Overwatch, whatever it is, everyone became so good. The skills floor and skill ceiling keep on going, and I feel like I got stuck back in 2014. So, I was a person that used to play League of Legends religiously. I used to play it during the pandemic for over 8 hours a day, from the morning to the evening, during online lectures, which I paid attention to. A wink. But regardless, what I noticed was back then I cared a lot more about the game. I would put in my best, I would watch videos to get better. I even followed a course which was free on laning back then. I was one of those people that lived on League of Legends, you could say. And this started for me way before. Basically, when I was really young, I used to play Team Fortress 2 all the time. That game kinda made me into the person that I am today when it comes to my favorite games. As you can tell by the fact that I really enjoy Overwatch and I really enjoy League of Legends. What's similar between those two? Well, all of them are ability-based shooters. I got my first copy of Overwatch back when I was 14. It's been a while now. Back then the game was still starting out. People were more or less new to the game. I found out about it because I saw Leafy play it once over YouTube, and I really thought that the entire concept of Genji was cool. You know, you don't really see FPS games where you can see the entire forearm shooting shuriken and dashing around with dragons, and yeah, the game seemed pretty cool, so I thought, why not try it out? And yeah, I got hooked. I got addicted. It tanked my grades for a bit, not gonna lie, but then we got back up. We take those. Well, yeah, that game was vital for me. I would love it. I would love every play of the game. I used to record them with my phone when I was young. But regardless, it was amazing for me. It felt like Team Fortress 2 was actually getting content in the skies of Overwatch. Yeah, after some time of playing ranked all the time, I got decently good on console. When I say decent, we're talking plat to diamond, so it was at least a bit above the average of gold back then. This was around the time Orisa, Doomfist, etc. were releasing, so there was also that lore hype, everyone's doing videos while the map's changing and whatever. But yeah, I spent a long time playing Overwatch up until the release of Echo. Around the time Echo released, everything kind of went stale, the content dried up, and I kind of moved on to what was now my gateway drug, League of Legends. League of Legends I spent way too much time on. I think I've got over 5,000 hours at least on League of Legends. Well, later on I started with my bachelor's, and suddenly the free time I have dwindled down into nothing. The pandemic passed, I had commitments to school, etc. And I realized that ranked games were no longer fun for me because you need to invest an amount of time. Also, people were getting a lot better already back then. I remember when Fortnite released, at first it was quite chill, but when people discovered that you could build and do stuff with the building, the game spiraled out and the skill floor exploded. Well, fast forward to a couple of years into my bachelor's. I completely ignored any and all multiplayer games. I was completely focused on playing single player games, mostly indies like Hollow Knight and Balatro. I spent way too much time on Balatro. And I was starting to enjoy the single player style of games. The type of games you can open, play around a bit, you know, get a couple of runs in between studying or working on assignments or work, and you just close. Later on, I would here and there open League of Legends. I mean, everyone knows what sunk cost fallacy is here, you know. I noticed that my skill in the game dwindled. I was very rusty, and yet the people that were in my same rank, which I was maintaining out of pure spite, which was gold, they got way better at the game, absurdly better, to the point where people are tracking jungle, are doing everything that you would expect from the higher ranks, really. And I was also noticing that I was getting way more emotional about these games. When I say emotional, I don't mean curling up in a ball and crying in a corner. Mostly I mean that I had gotten used to playing ranked before, just constantly grinding ranked, playing it, so it didn't really mean that much for me. I didn't really have that connection, that risk, because I knew that at the end of the day it was a game and I could just requeue for the next one. But when I came back, I noticed that suddenly I'm getting these bursts of anxiety, this stress that came out of nowhere, and yet it would make me shake at times. Honestly, it would make me shit myself in bed. And suddenly also the games I grew up playing and got used to playing became almost alien to me. League of Legends would release 3 to 4 champions a year, sometimes more, sometimes less, mostly less, and yet I still couldn't keep up. This was also around the time Overwatch 2 rebooted. You had new content coming into the game with all its drama, new characters, and suddenly even playing what felt like my comfort game, multiplayer game, Overwatch, also felt like a chore. When I say a chore, it's because you sit down, you play a game, but you just can't keep up with everyone. The matchmaking is putting you against people that are way too good for your rank. I also tried a bit of Apex Legends. The matchmaking in that game, if you've ever played it, you know how horrible it is. You start off more or less around people your rank, and yet when you start getting better, you start seeing the trails of people who are at the upper ranks of the game and yet are meshed with you in a casual game. That for me was exhausting. I felt like I was committing a lot of minutes or hours into matches that ultimately I wasn't getting any satisfaction from, even though you don't always have to win. Even when I didn't win, the game felt a bit exhausting. You had to constantly be aware of everything. You had to keep up. You had to keep up with the meta, the patches, whatever. So that being said, I quit multiplayer games completely. Later on, after going through a shit ton of my single player games, and the Bachelor started to dwindle down recently, I thought, why not play these games again? Well, the same issue came about with anxiety when it came to ranked games and quick play games, and yet there was something weirdly refreshing about coming back, picking the competitive queue for whatever game I wanted and playing. Suddenly I didn't feel like I had to maintain this sort of rank or caring about LP that much, but I had this kind of fresh perspective on the game. I could stare at the game and think, I'm just going to enjoy myself, have some fun, and you know what, if I get a couple of LP here and there, or SR, or whatever you want to call it, every game seems to call it differently, so be it. A couple of extra points won't hurt. And also, because I had forgotten a good chunk of what happened in the game, most of the game felt quite new to me. I would find new characters, try them out, mess around with them, play horribly, go back in, and suddenly there wasn't this mental pressure to keep up with the meta, see what's going well, what's playing poorly, and the games didn't feel like this commitment that I had to sit down every day and play. You also don't really get mad as much, from what I noticed. You can't really get mad because you yourself suck at the game. And if you suck, you can't really blame anything. You just know it's you. You know that you could play better. And not gonna lie, at times you do end up pointing fingers at people on your team. That's inherent with any and all team-based games. And yet, you do still realize that at the end of the day, you outgrew the game you were playing before. And yeah, that's fine. Why not? You can laugh at the confusion that's going on. You accept the fact you're rusty. You don't have any expectations. You can almost enjoy the chaos that's going on around you. So, yeah, I'm back playing some ranked games lately, and the games seem oddly refreshing. Everything feels new. You get to try new characters that you lost. You get to try this game that you were once used to, and now it's suddenly a new coat of paint. I mean, I was playing Overwatch earlier, and I realized there's these perks you can select as you play a character longer in a match. That was completely new to me. I was used to Overwatch being this counter-pick game of chess, or rock, paper, scissors, call it whatever you want, where people, they pick Pharah, you pick Soldier to counter their Pharah. they pick Moira, they suddenly counter your Genji. It's a game of rock, paper, scissors. Yet, now it's just this game that I play sort of as a release after a long, stressful period dealing with whatever you're dealing with. You can just sit down, shoot people in the head, and call it a day. I still don't know what half this stuff does. I also tried some game modes which I had never opened my eyes to on League of Legends. I had never realized Arena could really be this fun. I was a person that played Summoner's Rift religiously. You know what Summoner's Rift entails. It's the default game mode of League of Legends, which games go from 30 minutes to 50 minutes, especially in the lower ranks where no one knows what they're doing. And yeah, these new game modes kind of refresh your perspective on the game. Suddenly it's not something that's on the line, but instead it's just a matter of playing around, getting stats bigger, seeing who can kill the other person faster, and that's it really. Well, what I'm trying to say is sometimes when you're stuck in the ranked grind, you tend to tunnel vision. You start to see the summoner points or whatever they are go up, go down. You start to get pissed because suddenly you dropped from your dream rank of gold, which is an amazing dream rank by the way, and you drop down to silver, and it does get infuriating. But sometimes it's also good to take a break, to take a step back and look, listen, this is just a game. Why you have to be mad? You know? And yeah, so if you take anything out of this video, consider the fact that sometimes you're getting too caught up into your ranked grind. And maybe you just need to step back, take a break, and come back in and approach the game as a fresh game with new abilities, new characters, and there's nothing on the line apart from a couple of variable points going up and down according to whatever the designers decide in their logic. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you at least got something out of this entire Yap Fest. I would really appreciate you guys taking the time to pop a like or something. Tell me what you guys think about the current landscape of competitive gaming. This was sort of something new for me. I never really did these types of videos where I sit down in the app for a long time. So I'd really appreciate to see your guys' thoughts, and I hope you stick around for the next ideas I have in store. Bye bye!